Willkommen zurück hier wieder bei Shadows of New York. Ja, wir haben ja gestern sage ich immer, im Spiel gestern wahrscheinlich, unsere Duty erledigt und waren nach der Geschichte mit dem Sheriff von New York noch bei der St. Patrick's Cathedral und haben etwas einem katholischen Priester gegeben. Wir sind ja sozusagen Diener zweier Herren in dem Fall. Und ja, schauen wir mal, was der nächste Tag bringt. Ich bin gespannt. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I always feel like a little nervous when I spend too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the center of attention. It's exhausting. At least, the last time I spent with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list, of course, tonight? Ah, yes, only one thing. Don't show up for the party at the Auto. Well, this is the rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around the city and see what's up. Maybe fixing myself a little drink while I'm at it. Ah, okay. Ach, ich glaube, diese Sachen, was vorher ja die Subquests waren bei Coteries of New York, sind jetzt quasi Feeding Opportunities. Also das, was wir zum Essen brauchen. Das hier oben, also ihr könnt den Text ja nicht so richtig sehen, deswegen lese ich es mal eben vor. Hier oben wäre A Walk in the Park. Das müsste Central Park sein hier. In life I wasn't especially fond of parks. Now as one of the kindred I can finally see the appeal. Past midnight, they become a surprisingly good hunting route. Oder breaking the habit. I need to break out of this mood, go somewhere I never visit, see something I tend to avoid. Think, Julia, what is the least you place to go and live a little? Und da geht's jetzt zu die Docks hier unten, oder? Ich weiß es nicht genau. Breaking the habit. Walk in the park. Ich würde jetzt eine Münze werfen, wenn ich könnte. Ich habe aber auch gerade keinen Würfel oder sowas da. Oh, das muss ich fürs nächste Mal vorbereiten. Ach komm. Breaking the habit. Mal was Neues wagen. Warum nicht? Ach so, ja, stimmt. Wie heißt es noch? Komme ich gleich drauf. What was I thinking? I mean, even the most hopeless introverts yearn for company every now and then. Be in the company of someone they know, or a total stranger revealing themselves to be the soulmate they've always sought. Even for someone as neurotic as me, there is something enthralling in the idea of briefly trading your individualism for a place in the crowd. You can just wander around and stare like a peeping Tom hidden in plain sight. If there's anything missing from the shell of my previous social life, it's that intangible sensation, being a part of living mass. But really, Coney Island of all places? Coney Island ist es genau. What was I thinking? Surely it's my ID finally revealing that I've been missing all along. All my sick soul really wanted was to nibble on a Williams caramel apple while taking an overpriced Wonder Wheel ride. Well, I'm here. Might as well try at least one of those tourist traps. Spookorama. Oh, das ist, glaube ich, ganz geil. Das ist wahrscheinlich so eine Geisterbahn. Thunderbolt, was auch immer. Wonder Wheel. Nein, ich bin für Spookorama. Das passt zum Vampir. A goofy-looking rubber cyclops hanging over the entrance to the haunted house has somewhat cheap but inviting appearance. I pay for the ticket in hope of seeing more of this sort of kitsch. I don't stick around until the end and storm out through the emergency exit. Warum? Jesus. I died, drank a rat's blood once, lost the ability to use modern technology, and with all that in mind, I still consider this to be the worst experience yet. Not that I expected anything else, but still, I'm not sure what I was hoping for. Amidst the cloud of cigarette smoke, I noticed an old woman perched silently by the wall. She looks like one giant wrinkle, but her gaze is lively and pierces right through me. I pull the crumpled package out of my back pocket. My last smoke. As I raise the lighter, some pompous dick preoccupied with his visibly bored girlfriend shoves the cigarette out of my hand. Somehow it's his half-assed apology that pisses me off the most. The urge to drink him dry is strong, but I let it pass. I look beneath my feet. I can hear the old crone cackling as my cigarette sinks into the only puddle in the vicinity. Natürlich. Fuck! I turn towards the exit and notice some brawny dude closing in on me. The way he's dressed has the same uncanny aura as Steve Buscemi walking through a high school corridor in a skater outfit. Except that Steve Buscemi is 1,000 times cooler than this guy. Lass mich raten, das ist etwa der, wie heißt er noch, der Ghoul von dem Nosferatu? Kaiser? He gets right in my face and hands me a cigarette, pulling up a rather annoying smirk. Nein, ist es nicht. Blockhead. Having a bad night, sweetheart? It was fine until you came along. He completely disregards my reluctance and starts waving his hands erratically like a second-hand mime. That's a shame, but hey, you seem like a girl who likes to have fun. I know these things. I have something here, just for you. Wanna check it out? Throughout his bizarre peacock dance, his colorful wristband pops up from behind his sleeve. Shit, man. How clueless can you be? Is this a hidden camera show? Or maybe you're just some newbie being hazed by the rest of your undercover unit? He really thinks I'll take the bait. Unbelievable. Okay, smartass, you're on. Well, what do you say? Keep talking. Why don't you follow me to my stash? I've got dope. Wow, just wow. Let me stop you right there, Tony Montana. Less than 10 seconds and you rush straight to the finish line? Also dope? You poor soul. You're out for your depth. Who put you up to this? I seem to have struck a nerve, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Come on, big guy, just give me a reason. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Now that's just rude, and begs for reaction. Das ist geil. Also einfach weggehen ist langweilig. Dominate, drop your act for everyone to see. Oder dominate, scare the haunted house visitors. Ich bin mir nicht ganz so sicher, was sie jetzt damit meint, dass er irgendwie was für irgendwen tut. Das heißt, das hier könnte die Maskerade gefährden. Und das aber auch scheinbar, oder? Ich glaube... He freezes in place as I gaze into his eyes. I point my finger at the haunted house right. Go inside, pretend to be a real monster. The cop quickly waddles... Cop. Deswegen. The cop quickly waddles through the front entrance of the Spookorama, leaving a ticket seller flabbergasted with his impudence. A moment later, I see a member of the staff wrestling with the wannabe drug dealer as he's doing his best werewolf impression and tearing off his shirt. Two casually dressed guys sharing similar light blue wristbands jump to the scene, taking out their badges and frantically trying to stop their buddy from biting them. So geil. Okay, das war also ein Kopf. Ich hatte mir schon fast sowas gedacht. That's enough to put a smile on my face. Seeing the old crone rolling in the aisles, laughing her heart out at that pic suddenly makes the whole Coney Island trip worthwhile. She applauds me from afar. No one but me seems to notice. Ach, die alte Frau, okay. Maybe there's something more to this place after all. I casually wave back at the old lady as I take my leave. Guess that's enough human interaction for one night. Once more to Big Beat Burger, into the last fast food joint I'll ever know. I'll have the usual. The first time I used this line I wasn't sure if it would work, but I've gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier just smiles, nods and charges me for one black coffee. I can imagine them instructing newbies. See that emo weirdo? Here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee, nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably I wouldn't take a single sip even if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash. But at least being a buying customer gives me the excuse to sit here for as long as I want to. I wish I could use one of those half self-order kiosks to minimize human contact, but touchscreens don't exactly like me. Not too long ago I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Ah well, the good news is it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is it's because every kindred who matters is having fun at the Arto right now. It's not like I wanted to go, I just wanted them to invite me, so I could tell them to fuck off. I scanned the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision. Am I naively hoping someone will come and save me from misery? Guess I am. Please, 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 let somebody come and get me out of here. A prince. A princess. A knight in shining armor. A fairy godmother. A passing huntsman. Big Bad Wolf. Mila Jovovich. Vin Diesel. Asiela Banks. Da fällt mir gerade ein, warum bin ich eigentlich davon ausgegangen, dass die beiden lesbisch sind? Nur weil sie sich treffen. Könnte Quatsch sein. Ich kann mir auch vorstellen, dass es einfach nur eine Freundin ist, von der sie trinkt. Aber was weiß ich schon. Hell, I'll take anyone at this point. Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconscious, materializing my dreams. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you're eternally stuck being a nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant. Sweet little Julia. Unlife's a bitch, and then you don't even die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book, which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that I was written in the last 15 years, and therefore contains no amusing drugged-out rants about troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back to looking at the entrance. That party must be so stuffy and trashy and boring. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation, I'm asking for amusement. But it doesn't come. All I get is this boring bozos in normcore clothes. They walk in, take care of their business, without doing anything to amuse me, and walk out. A few minutes after I lose all hope, a tall, elegant man marches in with a spring in his step. He looks around, impatient, irritated. Then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches my table, looks at me and says, "There you are, Kadir." Now that's curious. He shouldn't be here. Fairy godmother? Big Bad Wolf? Vin Diesel? Big Bad Wolf is good. Careful everyone, Big Bad Wolf is here. He will huff and he will puff and he will blow our house in. Why are you stalking me, Wolf? I'll have you know I'm not falling for the grandma disguise ever again. Madame attempt at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eyes, just stares at me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car, now. His tone leaves no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I want to ask what, but whenever he is in his "I will simply ignore all the dumb shit you say" mode, I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I silently follow him to the exit. He guides me to his car. I just hope I haven't messed anything up. Again, I don't think I have, but have I? Kadir's car. As usual, he gave me the back seat. He's always uneasy when the passenger seat is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Normally I'd catch him observing me in the rearview mirror, but this time he's watching the streets. More tense than usual. Something must have caught him off guard. I've got my seatbelt on and my popcorn ready. What's up? The awkward silence feels like it will last forever. Eventually he finds the right words and speaks up. 6 weeks ago, the prince told me to parley with the anarchs and the dogs, remember? Yeah, and you made me tag along so that I could learn something about politics, and it turned out politics meant something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at the wedding party. There was this man who didn't need to shout to make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room, their leader. White hair, a monocle, musty clothes. Boss Callahan. With this fucking Pollock cunt. Scrooge McDuck, yeah. How could I forget? A lot of panic, old-timey bravado and gendered insults flung my way. What was his name? Something British made him think of Hollywood. Callahan? Baron Callahan. Douglas, Boss Callahan. Right, it's 2020, but the man's opinions and ideas were stuck in 1920. Weren't the annex supposed to be the progressive option? I never understand why they put up with him. He was his ways of predicting which way the wind will blow. Anytime Camarilla or the SI hit the anarchs, it was the factions opposed to him that were hurt. The luckiest bastard in the world. Thought you didn't believe in luck. I don't. But it sure looks like his luck has finally run out tonight. Huh. Wait, don't tell me... The annex got rid of him? An evil grin. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know the specifics. But I do know he's gone. So, wow. Gone as in he's dead? Deader than dead? I'm 99% sure the bastard met his final death. Da war ich mir jetzt gerade... Ich habe das letztes Jahr nochmal durchgespielt, Coteries of New York, aber ich glaube, dort hat er überlebt. Das heißt, das muss jetzt erst passiert sein. How do you know? We've got trustworthy sources in the Anarch inner circles. Looks like all hell is about to break loose. There's an emergency meeting at the art hall. Jesus, and you're bringing me with you? Why? Because you were on the way. Because I could. Because I should. You might not be important to the members of the court, but you're still an asset to the sect. Symbolically, and at least, I can justify sneaking you into the party claiming it's for your own protection. An unexpected alliance between Big Bad Wolf and poor little Red Riding Hood. Tsk. Wait a minute though, the party is still happening? I called the prince, told her the best course of action is stopping it and starting listing the security protocols I have prepared for these sort of situations. She interrupted me halfway through and told me we'll discuss the subject face to face. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The party is that important, huh? Politics is that important. I don't know if she's trying to convince me, or if he's trying to convince me or himself. And once again, politics sound an awful lot like a bunch of party-loving assholes shouting at each other. Don't worry, this isn't the kind of, how should I call it, governing issue. The likes are few and I tend to deal with. And how would you describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? Shoveling ourselves out of shit. As usual, she seems a little embarrassed for cussing. Or for being too honest. Either way is cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay silent as the car rides off towards the unknown. I'm not a New York City Baron. The Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, memory of an old douchebag who thought he could rule the world with my crossed mind. crossed my mind. But it looked like the word he has left him behind. Sayonara, asshole. And here I am, the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight. The art hole. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively. Even if they know it's an emergency, they simply don't care. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea, do I? I think the bouncer will let you in. There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just start walking, whelp. And here I am among partying elites. It's as stuffy and boring as I expected, but hey, at least it's exclusive. The title PanHub came up for these yearly gatherings is called Celebrations of Power, an invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and the spaces they inhabit. The week-long event is packaged as a sort of performance art piece, meant to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential, instead of despairing their monstrous nature. We need to counter-program the omnipresent images of tragic vampirism with images that remind us we have inherited the earth and are now free to remake it in our image. Is the way our prince puts it. To this end, she organizes a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the parties and businesses meetings are the most important. My prince. Kadir, finally. Die hat sich aber mal schick gemacht. Ach ja, das ist eine Kostümnacht, glaube ich, ne? So war das. A saint with angelic wings, a holy patron of New York City. I take a good look around. Half of these figures here are dressed like they're attending in a masked ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know PanHub based it on psychomagic, a sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of art. Simply put, it's a holy mess. An unholy mess in equal measures. A set of rituals meant to make the participants wholeheartedly accept they are both the worst and the best this earth has to offer. Put on this mask. At the very last, you're standing out. Ja, nice. Hier. Okay. Rufen Sie erstmal einen Schluck trinken. Jetzt sieht er aus wie ein kleines Schmusekätzchen mit Hörnern. Oh. Alles gut. I heard the aesthetics basis for these parties is the black mess in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Something this decision means PanHub is tone deaf, but it's quite the contrary. She knows the anarchs are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhetoric that point out glaring contradictions in her theoretically beloved benevolent rule. But instead of denying and suppressing aesthetics designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them. Instead of risking a Streisand effect, she effectively defangs the opposition. The resistance becomes a part of the system, and both the Camarilla and the anarchs get the same message. Don't think of it as pathology. Think of it as a new normal. I will collect the key advisors. They've already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold the meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over here. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Sawinski I see behind you? Just let Kadir talk. I nudged Kadir to take over. I collected her on my way here because of her role as a La Sombra representative. Just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear what's gonna happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. I realized she might become a target and decided to hide her at the atoll. Putting all my eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I will look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Und da ist er schon, Thomas Arturo. Let her stay with you for now, Alice May. Time is of the essence. I didn't notice him sneak up on us. Nice get-up. Are you absolutely sure? But of course. Everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Panhard has already come up with the appropriate messaging. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl towards the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Alice May. All of the appropriate security protocols for you are already active. Me and the prince have already pulled some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. Mostly under control. Never let anyone sleep any easier. Alice May, I know that the prince's sword. You're arching for blood, but you have to accept that, like the most weapons known to men, you are most effective hidden in the sheath. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly, I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard? Of a sudden, Samaria appears between the two men, her calm and collected voice completely changing the atmosphere, as expected for a self-professed protector of the peace. Samira, I hope you're enjoying yourself. To be quite honest, I feel out of place. She nods and smiles at me, probably to signal she takes solace in not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of the water. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Nonsense! We have a delicate matter to discuss, one that might require severe judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wished for a child of Hakim to be involved. Of course. What is with that expression on your face, Kadir? He quickly collects himself. Look who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, Lady Ailing Sternbridge, walks up to the group in an outfit I would have never imagined her in, pretending everything is par for the course. Sie hat sich doch eigentlich nur Hörner aufgesetzt, oder? Mehr hat's doch eigentlich nicht gemacht. Prince Panhard, the Sheriff, the Harpy, the Banu Hakim Primogen, and we still waiting for someone? He's almost here. Shining even more brightly than usual, Ailing. I adore your outfit, Samira. Wish the prince allowed the same amount of effort for me. I, for one, am glad she didn't. I particularly love those horns. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on at the prince's behest, but I believe she has had more than enough fun. No, not yet. Well, this would do for now. But you're not off the hook yet. I paid a costly price to see you like this. Both Coteries and the prince's voices are strained whenever they attempt humor. Their minds are obviously elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Arturo, on the other hand, seems calm. We all celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now, what is it all about? Just a moment. Over here, Edison. The Camarillas and former spokesman approaches, pushes towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. Sogar mit Augenbinde? Oder warte mal, hat er ein Auge offen oder? Scheinbar. Helene, everyone, I certainly hope this is something important. What a commanding tone. Seeing as Payne can communicate normally, his servant relays his words to us instead. And he's posh and snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Alles klar. Carter won't be joining us? He gave me fair warning he might not make it tonight. I've messaged him the details. I have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time searching for lost time. I swear it's all I do nowadays, and there's never enough. I guess you understand why I insisted in this event must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, each deserving at least a few hours. The figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Yes, yes. Let's just cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action, my prince. Arturo? My prince, everyone, let me begin by stressing these important points. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway, and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat. We are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callahan, de facto leader of Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. Samira sagt nichts. Ailing Sternbridge sagt nichts. The servant. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. Their intel is as accurate as it gets. We've also established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They gave us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief, so does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but so simply exclaim it like that. Oh, spare me with your virtue signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if you took care of Callahan or not. I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it. Unless someone wants to confess, it's now or never. Of course, nobody speaks up. Arturo pretends to clear his throat. Well, that's our official position as well. The Camarilla's ruling body has nothing to do with it. And for all intents and purposes, his Anarch contenders had more interest in removing him as we did. That interest is sure to manifest in one way now. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't just leave the Anarchs to their own devices. As much as we like to avoid recognizing their sect in any way, we've offered to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contoured slightly. Let me just ask you one question. Do you realize those curs have no respect for our traditions, yes? We do, Addison. But as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the words controlled opposition. Yes, for now, it's impossible to fully contain the Anarch threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prop up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans for the city. We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving him a way to present himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rebel falls in line, the purists grow angry and alienated. We have already contacted the best possible person in their sect. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his best interest to show he's able to resolve the situation calmly. Isn't that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. The other factions within that sorry excuse to the sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I will do my best to solve the situation as fast as possible. How so? Kadir is momentarily taken aback by Turo's question. I volunteer to coordinate the case with the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Kadir is stunned. All due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tracking this issue and attending to my usual duties at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. You're penchant for working yourself to the bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but so is your perfectionism. If we do grant your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Alasmai. Not when the vultures are out in force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and there's an obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebrations will continue as planned, no matter what. This is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince. We must be on constant vigil for a few days. Alasmai's sword must be constantly pointed at the enemies surrounding us. Kadir sagt nichts. The timing of the barony's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch leaders are sure to point us at and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise of us to brace for a lot of unfortunate coincidences, Ailing. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us, but they also can't think we have something to hide, which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expertly measured intensely. My best bet is a humble diplomatic envoy, a low-level official acting as investigator of sorts. Low-level, das kann nicht sein. I implore you, Prince. Kadir. He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla is involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think there's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kadir look at me simultaneously. Everyone else in this room does too. Now, wait a second. He can't possibly mean... Miss Julia, once again. Your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permission before I make up my mind? The sheriff sighs deeply and speaks up. Sowinski. Miss Julia Sowinski, right? I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. That's correct. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogen insisted that you are the worthy of greater privileges and you should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samiria measures Atura with suspicion. Yes? Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deep in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, 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 don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good. And I'm sure that you all might have no problem with your protégé embarking on this mission, save for the pain a mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whether I do or don't is not particularly important right now, is it? It absolutely is. Penhart's backing off Arturius momentarily blindsides him. Prince Panad, if Arturo's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he knows he's left with no choice. I wouldn't entrust her with all the responsibilities that I have if she wasn't. He exchanges glances with me, but his look is different than Samira's. It's as if he is trying to apologizing to me. Here we are then, a recommendation from the Banu Hakim Primogen and the Sheriff. To tell you the truth, I was just throwing out ideas, but with this backing, I can't doubt the Knight Clan's representative will get the job done. I'm certain each of us feel like the same. Mr. Payne? The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here and an averted gaze there. It is as you say. I will watch the way she handles the situation with great interest. Well then, Miss Sawinski. Looks like you've got your chance for the big break. I have conditions. Oh, jetzt wird's interessant. Just tell me what to do, nobody ask what I think, ist schon ein bisschen cocky in der Runde. Aber I have conditions ist ein bisschen mehr badass. Ich bin mal ein bisschen badass drauf. Big break doesn't mean much by itself. All I see is a big responsibility being placed on my shoulders. What do I stand to gain here exactly? Even though I'd normally jump at the chance to be useful, I play it cool. All of a sudden, not only everyone acknowledges my existence, but believes I can handle solving a tense criminal case. If something seems too good to be true. Let's not be vulgar now. You stand to improve your standing at the court. Yes, we can discuss the particulars based on your performance. Yeah, they don't plan on giving me shit. Figures. It's not like I can refuse, but this is something I need to take into account while taking care of this case. I need a bargaining position if I want to get anything out of this. Yeah, I'll do it. Just point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. Excellent! That leaves us with only one more matter, which I hope we can agree on. Prince Panad signals someone with their hand. The figure emerges from behind the corner. Good evening. Catherine. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you're in town. Edison, looking healthier than ever. And what does Weiss have to do with it? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects. And as it happens, Catherine always knew how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I beg to differ. I'd be grateful if, just for once, you decided against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses Ailing's face, but she is quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself useful to the proceedings in some way. If half of what I heard about her from Miss Van der Weyden is true, she should be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific. One always has to read between the lines with him, but it was mostly envy. Miss Weiss gracefully agreed to mediate between the Anarch representative and the Lasombra representative, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflicts. That felt like a Phrygian slip. Lasombra representative, not Camarilla representative, i.e. someone who can be catapulted from the sect without much damage to the Ivory Tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Arturo looks at the clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour, you'd better hurry then. What the hell? All of this is happening so fast. If the situation is indeed under control, I will drive her and oversee the situation. Out of the question! You've got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool, the girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. But it's not as if the Anarchs have a lot of love for you, LSMI. You're too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Better spare, Miss Sawinski, having them see you two together. Kadir sagt nichts. Do you think my guidance of Julia would be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So, do you have any objections to putting her under my care? He lowers his gaze, but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I need to hear. Well, be going then. Wasting no time as usual, I see. Have you at least tried the aperitifs? Waiting is an old person's game, Helene. I still feel young. Remember, if there's anything you need to help with? Probably not, but appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great day and night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Edison. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave in a rush. Funny, considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. Und wäre das nicht der beste Zeitpunkt für einen Cliffhanger und hier aufzuhören und mal zu sehen, was uns jetzt genau bei den Anarchen erwartet. Ich hoffe, es hat euch bis hierhin Spaß gemacht und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Bis dann.